when I got there, about 6 months in, we organized now 5 stakes in the mission. There's no temple in Arkansas, so we go to the temple in Memphis, Tennessee. We're in that temple district. That's our mission boundaries. And the ward boundaries are usually pretty big. In Memphis, they're a little smaller because there's a lot more members there, and so like they're not as big. But sometimes you can cover boundaries which are like 2 or 3 hours across, depending on where you're at. As a Spanish missionary, I was assigned to Spanish branches, and right now there are 3 functioning Spanish branches. There's one in Little Rock, one in Russellville, Arkansas, and also one in Memphis, Tennessee. And one in Memphis is the biggest, Little Rock's the next biggest, and Russellville is the smallest. At times, there's been Spanish branches in another city of Conway, one of the cities I served in, that we try to get a Spanish branch going. There's a few strong Spanish members, but we didn't have enough Spanish missionaries to cover everything, so we ended up closing the area. We watched a mission video before from one of the members. He shared that like it's called the belt buckle of the Bible Belt for a reason, and there were churches everywhere. Like here, you go on and say, "Oh, there's a bank in every corner, like a McDonald's or something." There's like every other corner there was a church. One of my areas, there was a church across the street from our apartment. Down the street, there's another one. Like just maybe 2 minutes walking. 2 minutes walking, there's another church, and there's a lot more in the vicinity. So a lot of people went to church. For Hispanics, they're mostly Catholic, but depending on the area. And then there's a lot of Baptists, a lot of Methodists, a lot of the small churches that people just have their own little congregation. There are some areas where there's quite a few Muslims as well, and Jehovah's Witnesses, Pentecostals. So it was interesting people on the street, because a lot of them knew about Jesus Christ. Like, oh, if you asked about Jesus Christ, oh yeah, I love Jesus Christ. I know about him. I love him. He's my Savior. And so sometimes that was good, and sometimes it was a problem, because people were like, well, I didn't know about Jesus Christ. I don't want to listen to you guys. So thank you for your time, but you can find someone else that could use your time. And then there was people that would sometimes bash or anti, and those were never good conversations to get into. Like sometimes you get kind of angry and want to like, I just want to set them straight, but it never works out. And it's best thing just to bear your testimony and then leave if you can. So I had several experiences of where you're just walking on the street, or you're talking to someone and they just screech at you, or you just say, hey, this. But those were only small. A lot of people were really open and accepting. And you taught a lot of people, like you could teach quite a few people. It's just sometimes it's hard to get them progressed. But there's a lot of faith in that area. So that was always good. A lot of things was just kind of funny. He's knocking on the door like, are you guys Jehovah's Witnesses? We're like, no. Like, oh, well, you guys can come in then. I always thought we were Jehovah's Witnesses. So that was a common one. Another one was teaching about the Book of Mormon. A lot of them love the Bible, and that's awesome. And so trying to share the Book of Mormon with them, you got to be careful to kind of still like balance between the Book of Mormon is important, but also they need the Book of Mormon. That's going to help with the conversion. So trying to help them see that Book of Mormon is another one of Jesus Christ, that we still read the Bible, to share quotes, to teach, share things from the Bible, but also try to focus on the Book of Mormon. It's a hard balance, and some people were flat out like, nope, it's a reference book, or it's of the devil, or it's not true. But then if you share people, like just bear testimony, some people were like, oh, this is cool, and they would read it, and it would be awesome. So that was a common thing. Another problem that we faced, I think, not just as Spanish missionaries, but also people that weren't married. A lot of them sometimes had they got married before and they haven't divorced and they're living with someone else, and so there's a whole bunch of a mess to try to figure that out. And so that was one of the trials, is to get them to get them married, if they're progressing. Also getting people to come to church, because sometimes they're like, oh, for Hispanics they had to work. For people, they had their own church they thought they should go to. So it was hard, and the best thing to go out was having members with you to invite them along and to just encourage them and bear testimony and remind them throughout the week, get them excited, like, you want to come to church with us? And constantly remind them about it. I think the 2 most effective things were talking with everyone on the street. Just you see them, just like, hey, can we give, like most of the time, one of our common approaches was we had pass on cards, like, hey, can we give you a card about Jesus Christ? I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then we talk to them and get to know them, and then set up time to come meet with them, maybe share a little bit with them if they have time. And so just by talking with everyone, when you could find the elect that way, or find the ones who are ready, the ones that Lord had put in your path. And the other way would be to work with the members. And that was something that I tried to work with, and I still struggle with a little bit, try to figure out how. And also with Spanish branches, we didn't have as many members, and But I think I could have put more time and effort on that, because that really brings results. That really helps. That's Lord's way. Lord tells us, and we told by President Monson, that's member and missionaries working together, that like that's the way it should be done. And it definitely works. Because with missionaries, just as they're teaching, people come by all the time. The Jehovah's Witnesses, other churches come by and share messages about Jesus Christ, and they think like, oh, that's great. I have all these people coming by. This is awesome. But then really having a member there sharing with them how it's changed their life, and like they can see someone else, that can foster a friendship and also just help them see kind of more of the importance of it. And so we try to get members out with us. We try to have them like share testimonies, have them right in the church, and when that worked out, when they were friends with them, and we had some success with that. Some of the people that were able to get baptized because they had that friendships and that trust, and we had some members that would always go by and pick up for the church, or would always sit by them, and so that's something I would focus on a lot more. And it's hard, and you can also like with missionary work, like not everyone you're going to speak to is going to get baptized. I think that's one thing I struggled with at first. Was I thought like, oh, everyone should. Why is everyone accepting the gospel? It's so awesome. But then I thought about it's a lot of change, a lot of hard work, and so but having that missionaries as a member and the Lord there, things can work out in their own time. So.